Right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and labor in the word and doctrine. Shalom, meaning peace. May that be unto the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, we're the Hebrew Israelites coming back to prophesy the return of Hamashiach, which is the Hebrew word for the Messiah. And that's where you get the term Messiah. So we're going to go into the famine of the word, Lord willing, and then just see where the Spirit leads it. So if we can go through both chapters actually, Lord willing.
Just that?
So, yeah.
Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. Behold,
No, start with verse 1, please.
I'm sorry. Amos chapter 8 verse 1. Thus hath the Lord power shewed unto me, and behold a basket of summer fruit.
Yeah.
And he said, Amos, what seest thou? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. Then said Yahawah unto me, the end is come upon my people of Yasharallah. I will not again pass by them anymore.
So there's going to be a time where Jake is in sincere affliction to the point where it doesn't look good for him, man. Say it like that, where we do already, but we're going to need some serious divine intervention. Right now, so let me say this. Jeremiah 11 and verse 16, it says, the Lord Yahawah called thy name a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit, with the noise of a great tumult. He hath kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. For Yahawah of hosts that planted thee hath pronounced evil against thee, for the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they have done against themselves, to provoke me to anger in offering incense unto Baal. Right, and Baal means what? It means husband, lord, and master. So basically, Israel had a lord, Israel had a husband, and committed spiritual fornication. If you could get that, is it not Wisdom of Solomon? Is it 4 and 10, 4 and 12?
Bewitching.
No, the spiritual fornication. Try Wisdom of Solomon. Yeah. Try Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 12.
It's not that one. That's bewitching. Solomon is 14.
Yeah, 14 and 12 then.
Yeah. This is Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. For the devising of Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life.
And the corruption of life, we're known as the lively stones, the living stones. And we're meant to be nourished by that bread of life, by that living water. But Jake departed from that. If I get Jeremiah 2, bear with me in these big clunky gloves.
I got a precept as well.
Might as well get that first.
Okay, Revelation chapter 2, verse 4. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love. And this word is likened to our first woman. So it's that first thing that we're supposed to cherish and we're supposed to love above all things. Okay.
Because you have Jake, as soon as he gets a paycheck, as soon as he gets this, he says, "Oh, how can I please my woman?" If you could get that in Romans 7, talks about they that are married, they that is 7 in it. Yeah, they that are married, they that or the first is it not 1 Corinthians 7? Romans 7 is about the flesh and the spirit. You could search that up. Because it talks about he that is married and she that is married likewise. They take care about, oh, how am I going to please my husband? How am I going to please my wife? But he that is unmarried, he's caring for the things of the Lord, and that's what it talks about. Even if they that are married, it is 1 Corinthians 7. It must be. Keep going. That's why it talks about they that are married should be as though they're not, because they're so focused on this thing that all of them are the distractions, which is what it is. Yeah, you might love your husband, well, I hope you do. You might love your wife, I hope you do. But if it's becoming a hindrance on the ministry, that's why Paul would say, as not that you put them away, because Matthew 19 and 8 through 9 talks about if you're married, from the beginning it was not so. Moses gave you the divorcement, the hardness of your heart. From the beginning it was not so. So really what you're meant to do is behave as though you've not got, all right, to the outside world, we should know, based on if you're doing the ministry, we should know, oh, that brother, he didn't do so many videos because he's got a wife. No, it should be as though we've not.
This is 1 Corinthians 7 and 33. But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. There is difference also between a wife and a virgin, The unmarried woman careth for the things of the Lord, that she may be holy both in body and in spirit. But she that is married careth for the things of the world, now she may please her husband.
And that's what I'm talking about. Every single virgin. It's talking about within the ministry, within the know. There's going to be them women that are unmarried that care purely for that. But then when you're a wife, when you're a husband, then you've got a duty. You've got a responsibility that you also need to carry out. But you can't let that, if you're a man that's teaching, you can't let that come in the way of the ministry. Right, let me get this. Jeremiah 2 and verse 13. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. And Jake is, certain Jakes are vessels that can hold no wisdom. This is Jeremiah 17, verse 13. It reads, O Yahawah, the hope of Yasharallah, all that forsake thee shall be ashamed, and they that depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken Yahawah, the fountain of living waters. And Yahawashi is that living water, or he is that bread of life. He is the word. He is that pure doctrine. Now the fountain, that means that if you got a fountain and there's water, the water came out the fountain. So Yahawashi came out, the Heavenly Father. He created Yahawashi, and then from that all things were created by and through Yahawashi, for Yahawashi. He was the first spirit created. Got anything else before going back to Amos?
Amos chapter 8 and 11, once again. Amos chapter 8 and verse 3 now. It says, And the songs of the temple shall be howlings in that day, saith the Lord power. There shall be many dead bodies in every place, they shall cast them forth with silence. Verse 4, Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Shabbat, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great?
Do you know what an ephah is?
I don't actually remember.
Son, have you ever heard the word ephah?
I've heard it, but I'm not sure what it is.
I believe it goes into...
When Etym Online says it goes back to the Coptic root of epi or epi. No, you can pull that up. No, I meant that, yeah.
So then the word in Hebrew, ayapah, means a dry measure of quantity equal to 3 seahs, 10 omers, the same as the liquid measure of bath, about 9 imperial gallons, which is 4 liters.
For example, it's not this, but say it is, it's a certain quantity on measurement. Alright, so an ounce. An ounce is 28 grams, that doesn't change. So they were trying to, if you just go back to the verse real quick, so
the verse says, Amos 8 and 5, saying, When will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn?
So the new moon you can't buy and sell.
Okay. And the Shabbat, that we may set forth wheat.
The Shabbat you can't buy and sell.
Making the ephah small.
So making the ephah small, so say you're meant to get, in an ounce you're meant to get 28 grams, you cut it down to like 19, man. Yeah, and then he's got an extra 9 to go and distribute, and you get, if you do that, what, say 3-4 times, you've got another bit. Yeah, so they're being wicked with it, that's a false balance, which therefore is an abomination.
And the shekel great, and falsifying the balance by deceit.
So you know what you know what a shekel is? No. Shekel goes into, in fact, let's put it. And so on one hand, they were making you can probably guess, they were making the product smaller, and the shekel, what do you get products with?
The word shekel means the chief unit of weight or measure. So in other words, it's the measure of the currency. So it made the shekel great, so they had abundance. And that's how they were getting false balance, because they were making unrighteous profit, ill-gotten gain. So the chief unit of weight or measure, it says, it will say in gold, they'll say one of 10,000 of a talent, and equal to 220 grains. I'm not sure if any of this is relevant to you, but I have no idea.
No, all we want is, you can keep going if you want, but is the fact that there's a certain measure of, for example, corn or wheat or something that you would sell, and then so they were making small that, so they were reducing the amount of product you'd get and increasing the amount of money that they would get.
Right.
That's all, because you have, silver and gold, you can add in, you can make alloys of metals basically. Right. So you might have you fit in certain weaponry. Like there's a show Forged in Fire. You ever seen that?
No.
Yeah, they do that. I enjoy it. You know, that's something I'll watch to entertain myself. Is they'll get like, cause it reminds me of medieval shit, man. You'll get all, say like a recycled tin can, or you get this and you can break it. You can not break it down, melt it, man, and you can remake it into something else. Now that tin by itself, or any metal or any specific metal that we could theorize in question might not be as strong until you mix in this, and then you mix in that, it makes it real hard. Like so, if you get for example, if you get a sword like made out of pure gold, if you smash that soft, like you can bite into gold in certain ones. Yeah, when it's more pure. So you'd add something else. You probably wouldn't use gold. You'd add something else in. So that's what it's talking about. So they were doing that with the coin.
That's one of the things about why you look at the fourth beast having teeth like iron. Rome was actually the main nation who started to use iron very abundantly. And iron is a stronger metal, and they had better military might. And it's because they had advanced weapons in terms of what they were making metal out of. If you watch like forging videos, that's what they do. They get just like the brothers mentioned, they make an alloy. They'll do a composition of different things of the periodic table, different minerals, to add it, and then they fold it and heat it up, and that heat will then make this chemical reaction to make different weapons. But right now, the smith, right now, he's doing things that are not like the sword. Things that when it goes kablam, the whole fucking place goes kablam.
If you could pull on your phone, Isaiah 34:16. If you go into Isaiah
34:16.
No, I'm thinking of 54:16.
Yeah, Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Bloweth the coals in the fire, because he's using the heat to mix up elements, and you have to be very precise as well. You can't hammer it too many times, too hard, because then it would the minerals and stuff will go away. It will actually disappear from the metal. So you have to very specific heat. Sometimes they pour in water, but that cools it down too quick. So sometimes so it's more efficient to put it in oil when they're done. So it slowly all the chemicals bond and it becomes stronger. So it's a fucking beautiful thing to do, man. Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth. Go ahead.
It's like you had something called bellows. I remember at least from my certain bits of my family are from Ireland, and back in Ireland we'd have these bellows. So you'd have a fire, wood or coal. We'd have coal, and when it was going out a bit, you could go like that, and if you got a certain rhythm on it, you could see from a glowing ember to go, and it'd light back up into a flame. So that's something like it also talks about in the scripture. From your mouth, you can blow on a flame and make it hotter, or you can spit on it and put it out. The same sort of thing. So blowing that, it means to get it hotter. And when you're getting it hotter, you're getting it to the levels where you're going to be able to melt your things. So you're going to be able to bang out your iron or your metal.
And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And that word instrument in Hebrew goes back to the word kala, which basically means this word is kaliyah, or maybe it's kalai, I'm not too sure, but it says article, vessel, implement, utensil, so basically a vessel. So as it reads, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. Now if I just get that word waster, the word there is shachaf. Okay, that this says to destroy. So basically, one who's a destroyer. Did you have some?
So that's talking about what? That's talking about great big nukes, man. And that is the top sword you've got today. You can't show me something better than the ICBM. Oh, you of course better. You know what I mean by that. In terms of military, in terms of martial prowess, you can't show me something better.
Yeah. Well, the thing that is better is, for example, the chariots. The power they have and the weapons that are fixed on that. It's like if you look at how, like if you see like Gatling, have you seen people like fucking people, like a mad motherfuckers and the dog and stuff shooting those? Like I've seen the video, and if that stuff can do that, imagine what the chariots can do, man, raining down fire and lasers.
You have, like it talks about terrestrial and celestial bodies. So within the terrestrial realm, He's got it all, man.
Yeah,
But
the glory of the terrestrial, the glory of the celestial.
Yeah, they're not the same. And one is this one, the one is that one. Just like there's two manner of people, right? So the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They are not terrestrial. They are not bound by that. So just as the two manner of people, we've got two manners of warfare.
Should we go back to Amos 8? Amos chapter 8. Oh, and I'm going to go to verse 5 again, just read it again. Saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Shabbat, that we may set forth wheat? And the new moon is a Shabbat. You know, it's a day, because Shabbat means intermission, so it's also a day that we do the same as we would follow on the Shabbat. On
Resting from secular work. It doesn't mean you don't teach, oh well, today's my Shabbat, so I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna teach. I'm not gonna make. Which you're not going off if you don't. So let's say you do something that isn't work, but it's more. Say you do an hour lesson. You might take some time to study yourself. Rejuvenate and regenerate. But it doesn't mean, all right, I'm not getting up. I'm not moving out of bed. I'm not doing anything. I'm resting. It's not resting like that. You have to think of it as a rest from secular work. There's still work to be done. And there's still work to be done.
You can't literally do nothing really. And making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit, right? And that they were false. They were making that balance false by being deceitful, being crafty. That we may buy the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of shoes, yea, and sell the refuse of the weak.
And now to go into this, there's certain things that apply to Jake that we can apply to E. There's certain things that apply to E that we can now apply to Jake. The whole thing of E doesn't want to keep the law right now, and maybe he might want to keep it in the kingdom. You better. Anyway.
And it says, verse 7, Yahawah hath sworn by the excellency of Jacob, surely I will never forget any of their works. And that also goes, Hebrews 6 and 10. Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi is not unrighteous to forget our labor of love. Excuse me. And the way we're shown that love is to bring forth that living waters, man.
If you could get John 7 and 24 about.
Can we get that production?
Book of John, chapter 7, verse 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment.
It's like what? Is it John 6 and what am I thinking?
What are you thinking?
No, sorry, 7 and 38. My bad.
Oh, right. I don't know why you're doing that one.
John 7, verse 38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Yahawashi said that. Yeah, and if you believe in Yahawashi, as the scripture had said, because having the truth means you have the spirit of prophecy. You have the true testimony of Yahawashi and the glory he's coming with. And if you have that true testimony, okay, therefore you believe in him exactly as the scripture had said. Therefore the living waters will be in you, it will pour forth out of you, because it's living, it's flowing.
This is the book of Revelation. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 10. It said, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not, I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren, that have the testimony of Yahawashi, worship Yahawah, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy.
Yep.
There's no way around it. So what's an example of not doing that? What's an example of not letting, believing on the scriptures as it has said? A man that is an heretic, you can't go teaching and preaching with someone you disagree with fundamentally. Now, even on a carnal level, someone will tell you that. But it's a clear scriptural guideline. It's actually beyond reason. It's a very emotional point. Well, he's an Israelite. Many people are Israelites. I'm pretty sure the guys that did this and that are in jail for this grimy Jake. I'm pretty sure they're Israelites.
A lot of the people that that join hand in hand with the elites are Jake. You gotta remember that people that have sold out, that are doing atrocious things right now. That's Jake, man. This is Jake. That's what Jake is like. So it's not as simple as being amongst Jake and thinking, all right, because Jake is because we're all Israelites, we're all the same nation. We're all going to have to come together, and just to ignore the fact that we have differences. But those differences is going to tear you further apart, no matter what, man. Because you're coming together without any true unity.
It's putting a plaster upon a fucking bone wound. That's all you're doing. Yeah, it's still gonna come out.
Yeah, incorrect remedy. It's retarded, man. Quote precept. I'll go straight to Amos 8 again. Amos chapter 8 verse 7 again. Yahawah had sworn by the excellency of Jacob, Yaakov. And I want to get these words here. To sworn, that word is shabai, okay? To swear, adjure. It's also to take an oath. It's translated to swear 167 times. That's what the word swear means.
No, it doesn't mean saying fuck. That's not swearing.
Right.
Because it's so a simple Jake. This is another thing. Imagine you're teaching, then I say fuck, and then he starts run into a precept talking about swear not at all. Bro, that's not a swear word. You need to be in agreement. So swearing, if you could get that, actually swear not at all.
Matthew 5 and 34, it says, "By saying to you, swear not at all." Yeah, no worries. Yeah. I'll read the verse above. Matthew 5 and 33. "Again, ye have heard that it hath been said by them of old time, Thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths."
Right, so you're not going to go against what you've done. And the thing on that, a daughter, if a daughter was in her father's house, and he had to make an oath, make a swearing, and he didn't agree with it, he can nullify that. He can make that void. Yeah, but a young man, the father can't do that because he's a man.
And verse 34 says, "But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is the Most High's throne." You gonna talk on it?
No, one more time.
It says by verse 33. It says, "Again, ye have heard that it hath been said by them of old time, Thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is the Most High's throne." And it says, "For by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king."
Yes, there you have it. And people say that, I don't know if it's just a Benjamite thing, but people say, oh, you swear down. And you'll say, say mums. Yeah, and that is what is so-called swearing on your mum's life. Now you're not saying fuck. No, but you're making a certain oath, a certain promise. I promise I've said this truly. Anyway, let's get back to Amos.
Amos 8 and 7 in the word excellency. The word for excellency is the word Yahawah, which means exaltation, majesty, pride, and really. But pride also goes into boasting. There's a way to boast on the right hand side, and it says, in a bad sense, pride or arrogance. But exaltation and majesty is something that the Lord has granted unto us. Right? That's why He's sworn by that exalting that we as a nation that we have, and it's through the blessings that was given down from our forefathers.
Did you search on the word boast? Search it. There it is, see? You can boast.
Psalm 34 and 2, "My soul shall make her boast in Yahawah, the humble shall hear thereof and be glad."
Why say toss? I know there's also one.
That's a believe it
you can search up boast. Again, sorry.
Oh, just the word again.
Yeah.
But can I make a point real quick? Just like it says, the humble shall be glad. Shall hear thereof, hear the boasting of the Lord and be glad. So if you're boasting in the correct manner, if you're boasting in the correct manner, then it's not going on. Yes, but boast. Most times.
That's a good one. It's one is again similar to that, but we've actually made the point. It'd be good to get a reinforcement of that.
Can I get
yeah,
this
go
one?
ahead,
Now?
go ahead.
This is an example of how not to boast. Proverbs 27:1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. And to exalt that day tomorrow. In other words, exalt that your plans that you have, in a sense of that you confirm matters in the world. You know, like I'm going. You boast that you have this plan to do this amazing business meeting or whatever to the next day, or you boast of being able to get something like a new car. You're gonna bring so much, should I go in a second?
Book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 5. A stranger shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers.
Right, and I remember us doing a camp here. We read it in the basic Bible, or Bible in basic English, and it says what? Those who are not Israelites will be your plowmen and your vine dressers, or vine keepers, I think it says with that. Right, so this is talking about the kingdom. Your vocab, all you Christians, tell us what this is talking about, man. Right, and these are some of the main prophecies that he wants to stop via the famine of the word, which really is the Lord. You're putting the Spirit on him, but he's so proud he'll think, oh shit, I did that by myself. Okay?
Verse 6. But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi.
Right, so the non-Israelites, they're going to be your plowmen, your vine dressers, but you Israelites should be named what?
Priests of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves.
So that's called flexing, man. And that their glory, so all their money, all their, the Bank of England has how much money? Well, I don't know where it is actually now, but there's a great store of gold in England. Who's they saving that? They're saving that for Yahawashi, man, whether they know it or not. And they might save it. Oh, we'll say, come on, lads, we'll save this for a rainy day.
Whether they know or not, because they'll boast of tomorrow, like what they're going to do tomorrow. But
that'll
we
be
boast
sufficient
in the Lord.
unto the day.
Well, we're boasting in the Lord, and that's why in that time we're going to eat the riches. We're going to indulge in those riches, man, and enjoy it, and we're going to have glory in what the Lord has done for us as a gift, because He's sworn the excellency of Jacob.
That's going to be the ultimate come up, man, for Jake, man. Jake will get a little piece of this and that. And certain ones have another one which is a bit like Romans 2:14. It talks about when the Gentiles which have not the law do things which are contained in the law and made a law unto themselves, paraphrasing. Jake wants to put all his brethren on. Trust me, when Yahawashi is given that, he's letting everyone that was meant to get it, man. That's going to be the great come up. That is going to really be the great come up. So and you just Google like a vault of gold. That's a minuscule amount. Imagine how much the Lord has put in the earth. And it also talks about how in wood for brass. What scripture is that?
I'm not sure.
Could you search that? Just wood brass. Wood brass. And it's a parable, but the things that it's saying is true in terms of this lesser item you're gonna have magnified for the kingdom.
This is Isaiah 16:17. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also.
So you had something called the Stone Age. They talk about the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and the brother said what that the main kingdom that really used iron like that, the Romans, man, and that's why the iron is put on them in Daniel.
Right. And it's relatively strong. If you watch, if you look at videos look at videos like of blacksmiths when they have bronze swords and then they use it against iron. And they just smack it against the iron in different striking manners, and then it tends to wear off, and then the iron one is doing a lot better. It is a lot stronger.
So I was talking about that show Forge and Fire. That's one of the things they do the strength test. They'll get something really hard, like a big fucking iron. I'd rather get hit with a kendo stick than a rod of iron in it. Yeah. That's why it talks about the Messiah when he gets what he gets. He will rule with a rod of iron. Why? Because iron's strong enough. Fuck.
Yeah, man. A whole it's just dense percussive damage,
Yeah, man.
And that it symbolizes that royalty. That's how a ruler comes in with that type of power.
What does it say in Genesis 49? It says, "A scepter shall not depart from Judah." Right until Shiloh come the peaceable one, which is Yahawashi. which that name etymologically links up to Solomon as well, which Solomon is Yahawashi. So it's all by the Spirit. Let me just try to find this.
I'll read this verse. I'll read this. Isaiah 16:17. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. So the whole land will be abundant, and everyone shall be abundant in their fruits that they have.
Verse 21, the Bible show.
Isaiah 16 verse 21, it says, Thy people also shall be all righteous, they shall inherit the land forever.
Right.
The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified.
Even the Benjamites, even 21 Savage, even Derek Lewis, all of these various peoples that we know as, oh, that's him, this is how he gets down. Everyone's going to be, your officers, your exactors, righteous. All thy people shall be all righteous, man. That's, man.
That's the best thing ever, man.
I said nothing can beat that. Well, I'm talking on any scale. I was talking about martial, carnal, terrestrial warfare, and ICBM can't be beaten in anything. The kingdom, man. The kingdom of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi literally can't be beaten. That's a kingdom that will last forever. Even forever and ever.
That's right.
That song, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. That's how we're gonna be feeling, man. When it comes, it's like brothers, forever, yeah?
Forever.
Yeah, man.
It's
You can just
over,
imagine
it's
Jay. You can just imagine Jay like over there, like we got it all, man. Come on, man. All praise in the Heavenly Father's name. Come on, bro. Right, this is Genesis 49 and verse 9. It said, Judah, Yahawah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. And that's why you see Judah, the so-called American Negroes, of this whole Israelite thing. It all came out of Babylon, man. It came out of Babylon, just as we will come out of Babylon from the chariots. Not that we're necessarily there, but I'm talking Israel specifically, the elect, which we pray we are. Everyone looks to Judah, even in again to link it back to Romans 2 and 14. Even them that don't know, I remember when I was young of how to be how to behave as a so-called black man. You look into to the so-called American blacks. A lot of we're very aware of the affliction. A lot of their experiences with the same nation that we dwell amongst in the UK. I think a lot of people would also bear witness to that there was a great influence in quote-unquote culture. You have a lot
bringing salt to everywhere in the world from Babylon. They used Babylon because it was the most stout nation, and they took Jake in Babylon, which is Judah, and he's playing his part of being that being that head tribe, where he has that influence on all of us. Everyone it doesn't even make sense. It's not like it's benefiting us, but we look towards them and we see them as someone we have to look up to. But even if it's just to make hip-hop music and basketball.
Yeah, and that's spiritual, man. It's absolutely spiritual, because who had to come out of Judah? Yahawashi, the Messiah, Hamashiach himself had to come out of the tribe of Judah. So the fact that everyone's looking, I was watching one Bible production of the Kings, right? And certain of the kings, King Ahaz. I was watching it. I didn't watch it all, but I was like, well, I wonder what this says. And they were talking, the Lord, they had old people paler than me, playing all the characters, no anti-gravitational hair, which, obviously not everyone is, don't let that be a stumbling block. But the whole point was they positioned themselves as that, they're telling the story. You're like, the Lord had to preserve his people, Judah, so the Messiah could come through it. And they even said that, and they were referring to Judah as his people. I was like, you're sort of onto something. You're not, but you are. Genesis 49 and 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding the foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, Isaiah 61. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with milk. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. I'm sorry, I'll read that one more time. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. And that's why you read in Revelation 1, what does it talk? It talks about how his eyes was as a flame, as it was prophesied. That Judah, that Shiloh, that peaceable one, which is peace unto the Israelites. Right. Is that because you might get in Numbers 24 and 17?
He's coming with fire. That fire is purifying. He's purifying the earth, starting with the land of Zechariah chapter 13, which is Babylon. That's the main place of destruction, and then that purifying will bring peace. What's good for you?
Because Babylon's polluted the whole earth. So if you've got a root, if you have a disease, yeah, and you know that started in your arm, and it's spreading to the point where it's not gonna. You're probably gonna. If you have the option to either die, yeah, or chop off your arm, a lot of people would choose to chop off their arm. So we're gonna have to spiritually chop off the arm. Yeah, that's the cause of the disease. That's where it's been disseminated. Well, if you solve that, then there you are, man. The rest is history. And 24 and 17 about the show numbers. I think it's 24 and 16 and stuff.
Just like you said, chop off an arm. Didn't Yahawashi say it's better than you lose your member than your whole body perish?
Yeah, cast out your right eye.
24 and 16?
That's a good point. Yes, I believe so, yeah. Up a bit.
This is Numbers 24 and 17. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. And that star is again the morning star. That's what Yahawashi is. He is that true light bearer on the right hand side.
He is the true Lucifer on the right hand side.
Oui.
I took a bolder step.
They're going to say, stand boldly before the throne. We stand boldly because we're breaking down the scriptures all the time. We break these things down quite often, and you can see that it's quite a clear correlation. But of course, it's only going to be clear to the ones that the Lord's dealing with them.
As His ways are plain unto the holy,
so His stumbling blocks into the wicked. And it says,
it talks about in the scripture. Sorry. You know, when a wise man heareth when a wise man hear a wise word, he will add unto it. Yeah, right. He will commend it and add unto it. And that it's all by the Spirit. Yeah. It's not that this brother so his flesh is so wonderful. He was able to correlate that and link it all up. It's all through the Spirit, man.
If it was up to me, I'd be gone we'll all be gone a long time ago.
If it had not been, could you get Psalm 124? Just keep pushing in that now.
Yeah, Numbers 24 and 17 from the top. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Yahawah, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy all the children of Sheth.
So hold on, man, because I would have to look at this. I want to see what David Guzik says on the commentary, and maybe make a video on it. What does he say that these people that are going to do what verbatim?
I'll read it again.
This man Salaki, this person is going to do what to these people?
Because it says, and the scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners. The scepter shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy all the children of Sheth.
And who are the children of Sheth?
And that word there is actually the word for it's the word of Sheth, which is basically Seth. So the children of Seth is everybody after the flood.
so everyone's getting it, man.
Sheth.
You're getting it, everyone's getting it. Lord willing, we don't get it.
Seat of body.
But we have to go through that chastisement now, so we don't face it. And Lord willing, we don't face it. There's still a chance. You could teach His word, preach it, and if the Lord really wanted to throw you out at the last second, what is it? What are you going to do? And what am I going to do? What are we going to do? And Lord willing. That's why we always say Lord willing. And the fact that even Paul, after the majority of the so-called New Testament was written by him, he still said, I keep myself under my own body, I keep subject, so that after all this preaching I've done, I don't myself become a castaway. And that, you have to imagine that. That's a great level of humility, considering all the Apostle Paul did.
Book of Psalms 124, verse 2. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick, when their wrath was kindled against us.
So imagine when the Egyptians wanted to kill us, if the Lord wasn't there, we would be gone, man. Well, we wouldn't even be here in the first place, but it's just, to hypothesize. And it's all through the Spirit. For that incorruptible Spirit is in what? All things. Keep going up, please, bro.
Then the waters had overwhelmed us. The stream had gone over our soul.
Right, and what does that remind? It reminds me of how the enemy shall come in like a flood. Right, the proud waters. So he's going to come with some next proud waters. And if it's not for the Lord, if you don't believe in the Lord, you might get caught up in it. Or let me say you will. Let's keep going.
Then the proud waters had gone over our soul. Blessed be the Lord who hath not given us as a prey to their teeth. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth.
And our help is in the name. Yes, of course, in the fame, in the reputation, but literally in the name. You can't tell me. There was a brother, GMS Prisoners of Hope 2 recently did a video. You can't tell us that we're in the last of the last. Yeah, a lot of people that even were scoffing were saying, oh, you think it's that, you think it's that, and now saying, oh yeah, it's most likely the charagma. Yeah, what we say is the beast mark. Yeah, is what we say is, but apparently we don't have the name of the Lord. Come on, man. That's absolute confusion, man. We've got this far in the proverbial game, yeah, in the race, and we don't have the name. We're going into Jacob's trouble, and we don't have the name, man. Come on. I think that's it for
Yeah, so that was going to get some food for me.
Book of Psalms chapter 44, verse 8. In Yahawah we boast all the day long, and praise thy name forever. Salah.
One more time.
Read again. That's perfect.
In Yahawah we boast all the day long, and praise thy name forever. Salah.
And now, in the kingdom, that will be a literal thing. Forever, ever. So you get it? A long time, that, you know.
Amos chapter 8 and verse 8. It says, shall not the land tremble for this, and every one mourn that dwelleth therein? And it shall rise up wholly as a flood, and it shall be cast out and drowned as by the flood of Egypt. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord power, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. And I will turn your feasts into mourning, and all your songs into lamentation.
And you know when it...
No, you go.
No, I've spoken a lot.
No, go ahead first.
I was going to say, when it talks about, I despise your feast day, your solemn assemblies, you know, that is talking about us doing the true ones of the scriptures, but we can apply it. You know, we can apply it to Christmas, to this day, because that's what you try and keep. That's what you are trying to keep in the name of quote unquote Jesus. That's what you're trying to do that. But I would always say, clarify that it's actually talking about the holy days of the scriptures, you know, before making them those parables or parallels, rather.
And that darkness,
Yep.
as well, Yahawah is putting that cloud of darkness on us because of us going off. That's why that's why we're in a state of mourning. Lamentation is going into mourning and weeping.
Darkness represents being void of light. You know, that's why we will often ridicule the idea of nationally referring to yourself as the race of black. And what land that? You know, a German man's not telling you I'm a German. I'm a German. A German man's not telling you I'm a white. Yeah, he might say, and then you say, oh yeah, where you from? Yeah, oh, I'm from the land of white. He didn't say that. No, he might say that. He might say, oh, he probably say I'm European, you know, or I'm German. Well, we're so obsessed with a colour, man. Yeah, it'd be better if you said African American at this point, bro. Which is not good, but you know what I mean.
Lamentations 2:1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger? Right, that cloud over them represents anger. It's like, I think you see in cartoons when someone's angry, there'd be a cloud hovering over it. Yeah, and it says, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel.
I just want, before you read that, Salaki, yeah, just wanted to say, if you're feeling under the weather, it's not that it's a sunny day, IUIC weather, let's go preach. It's you're under the weather, there's a cloud above you. There's literally, you look like you've got a dark cloud hanging over you. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
I think I have, yeah.
I've had that said before. You look like you got a fucking cloud above your head, man. What's going on?
And as it reads, and cast down from heaven
Who
unto
reigned
the
on your
earth.
parade?
That's in the word. And cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel. So from the heavens, from being a light that blossoms in the heavens, to being something that was cast into the dust. Alright, that's the beauty, our beauty, and our, the glory we had was cast down. Now we're at the bottom, And it says, and remember not his footstool in the day of his anger. Alright, Yahawah had anger, and of course, this in Amos 8 is talking more about Yahawah's anger, his indignation towards us. Verse 10. And I will turn your feast into mourning, and all your songs into lamentation. And I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins. And again, you wear sackcloth in a time when you're afflicted. Okay.
What's the Greek word?
Sackos, isn't it?
Sackos.
What's the Hebrew word? You know?
No. Yeah, it's a bad question.
The Hebrew word for sackcloth is the word shak. Shak.
Oh, really?
Mesh.
Oh, wow.
Sack.
That's where you get the term sack then, man? That's got to be the root.
Yeah. Shad and a qua. Shak. Maybe shakwa. Either way. But yeah, there you are. Amos 8 and 10 says, and I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins, and baldness upon every head, which is another thing you do in your mourning. Sorry. And
Which also, yeah, it talks about how the heart of the daughters of Zion, they were smitten with baldness, which it was not a glorious thing.
Right.
It's not a thing where, or isn't. Let me say, it's a continuous present. It's not a thing where, oh wow, look, and that's you do have that in worldly fashion now, but that wasn't meant to be a thing of great beauty. Yeah, that is a thing of showing mourning, showing that it's not good, man. It's not good.
And and it says, and I will make it as the mourning of an only son, and the end thereof as a bitter day.
And you see that, Jake gets shot, doesn't have any brothers or sisters. Like, my only son, man. My only son. Well, your only son was a sorcerer. He was a demon. Yeah, he was a murderer. He was a this, he was a that. Yeah, it's judgment of the Lord. Not to say, of course, you're going to feel some sort of way as a mum, as a dad, whatever. But you got to use balance with it all, man. You got to realize the Lord is not unrighteous.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi. So that time where there'll be a scarcity, a shortage of this particular this particular bread of life, and living water. It's actually the famine shortage of hearing the true understanding of these scriptures. Okay, the teachings are not going to be brought out, and at one point, during the time, even time of Jacob's trouble, and times where things will be heated up, and the prophecies of literal famine come up. There's going to be all manner of havoc being rained upon this place. Being rained, because the anger is going to be shown. The Lord's anger is going to be shown to this world, and His kingdom is going to be taken down. And by the way, it's going to be taken down through its own wicked spirits in the nation. All right. And when the anger is boiled up, there's going to be things like censorship on the internet. Okay, things be taken out.
They're already
on YouTube. It's already doing that.
Yeah.
And then of course there's going to be a time when there's a shutdown. It's already, I think it's going on in Kazakhstan. They've had internet shut down there, and that's barely anything. That's going. What's about to come is something we have to really always remember. It's going to top up all the shit that we've seen. It's
from
constantly
hardcore slavery, from Jim Crow. Now that was horrific, but compared to what is to come, according to these scriptures, it says there's not been since a nation was created, since the nation Israel, Edom, all these different nations, Elam, the Ammonites, the Moabites, since the creation of a nation, until this very same time, there's nothing like it, man. So you really try to imagine that. You can't try to imagine the unimaginable. Right, so that links up to Isaiah 55, and if you've got anything else you want to touch on in that, that's fine. But
not this verse.
Right, well, I'll go into this a bit and then just bring it out when you feel. All right, Isaiah 55 and verse 1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, And he that hath no money, come ye buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. And we've already explained, you know, the wine, it was talk about spiced wine in Solomon. It talks about, you know, come into the mother's house, let me bring you into my mother's house. But that's talking about this truth. Like it says in Proverbs the 7th chapter, saying to wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, which flattereth with her lips, which represents sticking unto this truth rather than being beguiled by various different doctrines.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 8:1. Oh, that thou wert as my brother, that sucked the breast of my mother. When I should find thee without, I would kiss thee, yea, I should not be despised.
Right, and what does kissing you mean? It means to give you this truth. Yeah, to kiss, it talks about greeting each other with a holy kiss. Now, of course, there's a literal kiss, and the French, the Europeans sort of people, they still do that. Yeah, they might give you a kiss on this side, a kiss on that one, and then you go on your way. But it's talking to be kissed with this truth is what it's talking about. Your brother, which took the breasts of your mother, yeah, you came up together. Because that mother, it talks about in Hebrews, the 8th chapter. Yeah, but no, is it? No, not the 8th, the 6th. And no, it talks about in Hebrews, if you can find that, you know, strong meat, strong milk. Strong meat.
Strong meat.
Right.
Shall I get verse 2
to
first?
search. No, not yet. Weed from the breast, innit? That's it also talks about in Isaiah 28 about learning this.
Yeah, Hebrews 5. Hebrews 5 and 12. For when the time, Hebrews 5 and 12. For the time you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High.
Who's your first teacher? Right? Who first teaches you how to eat, how to drink? It's your mother, because you're drinking, you're eating from her.
And it says, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat.
Right, and where do you get milk from? You get it from a breast. Right, so this truth is likened to a nourishing mother unto thee.
Right, and not of strong meat. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are full of age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
Right, so once you've got that discernment, it's because you've been built up on the doctrine. You've had some of the milk, you've had some of this, you've had some of that. Alright, so Isaiah 55 and 1 again. Oh, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. You can get Son of Solomon. Oh, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread? And what's the first example we had of that? In the scriptures, what would you say is the first example of the proverb? You know, spending money for that which is not bread.
Say it one time, please.
What would you say in the scriptures, the first example for the proverb of spending money for that which is not bread? I think in the early chapters of Genesis.
Spending money for that which is not bread. What's that?
So verse 1 again it says, "Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye buy and eat. Yea, come buy wine and milk without money and without price." So what's that talking about? That wine and milk and not bread? Sorry? Yeah, exactly. So what's the first example of someone spending money for that which is not bread?
The tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Try covering themselves with something that is not to be covered. Yeah. It says, "Wherefore do you spend money for that which is not bread, and your labour for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness." Right, the fatness of this truth, not in the fatness of this doctrine, that doctrine. Yeah, Jake's always going to be hungry, man. They're trying to eat some Islam, some Islam sandwich. You want some Hindu cakes. It's not going to fill you up, man. This truth will fill you.
This is Songs of Solomon 8.
Or maybe not. Yeah, because it talks about a vessel that's not ready for this. Yeah, you can't hold it. It might not fill you.
Right.
Okay?
Song of Solomon 8 and 2. I would lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house, who would instruct me. I would cause thee to drink of spiced wine of the juice of my pomegranate.
Right, and that spiced wine, again, what did we just read? We read verbatim, it talks about coming to buy wine and milk without money and without price. You know, buy the truth and sell it not. Right, so it's without price. You're not meant to be out here, oh, I'll sell you this breakdown for £5. Now, ultimately, are the flock meant to, sustain? And it talks about how Paul, I can't remember which epistle or where it's written specifically, but it talks about how you have eaten of me, or you've borne, you've got the spiritual things from me. So therefore, you supply me carnally. That's a very poor paraphrasing. You're looking for it.
And 1 Corinthians 9:11. If we have sown unto spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap you carnal things?
Perfect. So it's a much greater service to serve someone this living bread, this bread of life, living water, than to give someone literally a cup of water. But it also talks about giving a cup of water. Yeah. Do you want to finish it? Anything you got in Amos?
That was, yeah. Amos 8 and 12 says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahawah, and shall not find it. So people are going to be searching everywhere they can, and every platform they possibly can look, so they can get the truth, they can get an understanding of what the hell's going on, because it's going to be a time of much fear. When people are going to see that there was a big deception, they're going to, because it's going to be a time of apocalypse. It's going to be a time of unveiling. Even though the true unveiling isn't really, being brought forth to them, because that's why there's a shortage of the word. But all the things of the scripture are going to be unveiled, are going to speak. There you are.
At the end,
it shall speak. And then when that happens,
you said there you are, like I just telepathically said that to you, because that was spiritual, man. That was absolutely
you
spiritual.
said something. You did say something about
I said manifest, but then I thought, let me just quote Habakkuk as soon as he finishes this, and then you said it. There you go.
That's how I
passed it on to him.
That's how I break down when it says at the end it shall speak. At the end it shall manifest. Basically, that's what it means, that it shall speak. And so
just similarly before you go nuts, like you said, how it should cause. It goes in the sight of the beast. And we were talking about last week. And that's it.
And Slack is trying to run my train of thought, because when they had to have that fear, when they have to see how everything's crumbling, people are going to start to realize that something really messed up is going on. This is panic mode. We should all be very scared. Oh, the world's falling apart.
And a lot of them are already there, man.
A lot of them are.
Imagine how much more so.
Right. A lot of them are saying they want to take matters into their own hands against the government. That's what they
talks
said.
about that in Ezra's, man.
Yep.
They shall not regard their kings nor their princes.
You are.
And the power of their destiny, the power of their fate, shall stand in their own hands, paraphrasing.
Yep.
The course of their actions, I think.
The course of their actions, rather. I believe it's that. Shall stand in their own power. It says in Amos 8 and 13, in that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. So, they're going to faint for thirst. Let's get this word. For faint, the word is ilap. Now it says to cover, covered, encrusted. So it does mean to cover. Ilap does mean that. You're covering something. But really in a sense of where it's wrapping, it's in wrapping. Okay? So in other words, in that day you shall be languid, okay, which is the French word languid, which goes again into to basically showing weakness and fatigue, alright, and flopping down, fatigue. Je suis fatigué. So, in that day, they shall be weak, and they're going to flop, they're going to, like when you're faint, you unravel, and you just sort of fold into just a ball. Not a literal like you're rolling a ball, but you sort of just, your whole body is no longer like stood. And it shuts down.
And you're gonna that's weakness, because what's that called? It's called the fetal position. Now the lowest form of life. No disrespect to the fetuses out there. Yeah, but they're very small, very very weak, man. They need to be nurtured up. That's why they're still not. Because a fetus is before it's actually been, it's come out, as it were. Yeah, it's been given birth to, so it's very, very low. And when you think of, when you associate weakness or something cute or something that wouldn't be able to defend itself, yeah, you think of a baby. Well, everyone's going to be a baby out here, man. That's why we have to become babes now. Again, like facing that persecution, that affliction, that shame now, for when it's time, they're being glorified, man. If you could put that light on here, please. No, just a normal light. Alright, so this is Isaiah 55 verse 3. Incline your ear and come unto me, hearing your soul shall live, and I'll make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Then David got great manner of mercy, man. Yeah, David literally committed adultery. Yeah, if you read about it, it says his heart was perfect with the Lord. Yeah, apart from there's a scripture that talks about apart from the issue with, yeah. But even in that, that's mercy. That's a great deal of mercy. That's the sure mercies of David. That's what we're hoping for, because we've done a whole bunch of fucked up shit, man. A whole bunch of fucked up shit. A multitude of sin.
This is Amos.
Are you not finishing it? No, I read the last verse.
Amos chapter 8 and verse 14. They that swear by the sin of Samaria, and say, Thy power, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again. Okay? And all those idols, all these idols that we do, that's completely just vain deceit. All the powers that of the other nations in general, basically all the other fucking nations, they're gods, because every other nation is an idol. All that's going to be gone. All those idols are going to be destroyed when Yahawashi returns, man. All the stuff, because the devising of idols, okay, that's that root, okay. And of course, money is the root of all evil, because that's an idol.
No.
The love of money, slachya. My bad. The love of money is the root of all evil, because of course that's how it's been taught, and it's been taught just simply saying the root of all. I'm not saying it's been taught by Christianity, that is. They just say that money is the root of all evil, but rather it's the love of money.
Money answereth all things. Right. Yeah, so there's a balance to it the same way. If you idolize it, if you put it on a pedestal, fucking, it will not. I guarantee that will not profit in the day of wrath.
Right. And just like we mentioned earlier, making the ephah small, but the shekel great. Okay, that's the form of an unrighteous balance.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and the fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts.
Right, so the key point there is, the Egyptians, which is modern day Egypt. Revelation 11 and 8 says that great city, Babylon the Great, is also known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Right, we don't really need to say why it's called Sodom, but Egypt is where we were in captivity. Let me say, Egypt is where all of Israel was in captivity. Because until we came out of Egypt, you didn't even have a kingdom split. So northern and southern, but now you have the northern and southern kingdoms in Babylon being oppressed together. So it's spiritual Egypt. Alright, so that's going to fail. Can I get a light? So this is Isaiah 55 and verse 4. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and commander to the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because of the Lord Yahawah, thy power, and for the Holy One of Yashuralim, for he hath glorified thee. Like it talks about, oh look, that's an Israelite. That's the seed that the Lord has blessed. It talks about that in Isaiah, that they shall acknowledge that is the seed that the Lord has blessed. Verse 6 now, it said, Seek ye Yahawah while he may be found, call ye upon him while he is near. So he is near, right? The Lord speaks. Surely he revealeth his secret through what? His servants, the prophets, right? So through the prophecy, through the ministers of his word is how you're able to seek. Right? How do you learn to know the Lord? By doing His commandments. Right? And it says that well, let's just keep it as let's keep it as simple as possible. If you're trying to do the faith, and if you're doing the commandments, that is how you begin to learn the Lord. And it also talks about how the beginning of wisdom is to fear the Heavenly Father. Right? So first you have to fear Him, you have to humble yourself, and you have to acknowledge it. Right? So there's going to be a time that you're not able to seek it out. Why? Because you're going to have the famine of the Word. You're not going. You think all hell's going to be breaking loose? We're going to be on the brink of thermonuclear destruction, Molotovs in the street and shit, and we're still going to be posted up teaching this Bible. Lord willing, we're looking to be eating and drinking, man, at that time. How it talks about in Isaiah 65 and verse. If you can pull that, I'm not sure the verse. But speaking of,
I'll start 2 Ezra chapter 5 and verse 1. Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith.
What does it also say? It says, this world is for the many, but the world to come for a few.
Yep. And scripture I had, if I just go back, verse 11. 2 Ezra 5 and 11. One land also shall ask another, and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. So in other words, there's going to be a time when people shall ask, go amongst other nations, go to and fro on the earth and say, is the truth of righteousness, is the way of righteousness that maketh a man upright in your land? Do people have the truth? They're going to say no. They're going to say it's gone. That's a scary thought, man.
And the scarier thought is, there's numerous Israelites teaching us. You say it's whether it's leaven or not, it's part of prophecy. There also had to be them that are heresies, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. Yep. So you've also got that, and you've got people saying, even that isn't the truth. So you've got a flip side of it. Yep. Let's get light on this, please. Right, Isaiah 55 and verse 6. Seek ye Yahawah while He may be found, call ye upon Him while He is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahawah, and He will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for He will abundantly pardon. And what did we just read about the sure mercies of David? Abundantly pardon, man. Said, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahawah. Now there's certain things that there's similarities with, and we'll say, see, even the Lord thinks like that, or even we think in that same manner. But there's some things that you need to mold yourself to, and be rather conformed to that than conform to this world. If you're living within this world, it's very likely that, whether to a major degree, to a minor degree, the world and the worldly thinking and philosophy is going to have an impact on you. Even going from all the cartoons you watch as a child, you begin to see, oh shit, that was adultery, and they made it a joke, or they made it a laugh, or this was this and that and this and that, and it fucks you up, man. It really makes you think, oh man. But I believe it was Elder Yahawah from One West that used to say, we had to learn wickedness on this side to appreciate true righteousness in the kingdom, and that is a true saying. And I pray I'm attributing that to the right elder there. Right? All right. It says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahawah. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So there's no sugarcoating it. The Lord is better than us, right? The Lord's thoughts are higher. In this society, we like to think everyone is on the equal thing, whether you're this, whether you're that. And I like to tell you, whether you've got the true God, whether you worship in idols, it's all the same. It's not the same, man. And that is an unrighteous balance. You're going to tell me we're all equal. All right, so let's see if this woman can bench press me. All right, or no, but I'm sure I can find that guy that can. So even it's on a carnal level. You have to understand everyone. There's no two things on this earth that are equal in terms of literal stature and literal this and this and that. Now the whole nation of Israel, them that are chosen, they're equally as important in the sight of the Lord. But that's the whole idea of equally important. That's not a brush among all nations as well that he likes to paint it with. So there's certain concepts that they'll take and make it seem like, oh, that's a good idea, and make it sound soft, smooth, like butter, like smoother than oil. But war is in his heart, man. Because he's degrading you. When he's saying we're all equal, yeah, I'm not equal to an Edomite. Yeah, that's how you should be thinking. And he's degrading you. If you're above him in rank, imagine you walked up to the queen and said, "Hey man, we're all equal." She's gonna be like, I don't know what she's gonna say verbatim. But really, everyone's aware. Not everyone's on the same level. But we're in such a fucking bubble wrap society that we all have to pretend like we all agree on it. Yeah, I don't believe there's many people that truly believe, every single one is. Because you do that, they even had to lower the requirements for women to get into the military. Now that's a slippery slope. If I was a patriotic American, yeah, of course there's issues with that. But I'm not going to say fucking anything. Yeah, deal with what you want. Let Babylon fall. Yeah, but there's no two things, one thing, two things that are equal. Now the key thing in this is the Lord's thoughts are above ours. Stop trying to apply your own worldly metric of righteousness and morality onto these scriptures. If you're really trying to do it, take the scriptures for what they are. Yeah, take the true doctrine of the scriptures and run with it. I like the bahasham. So it says first, this is Isaiah 55 and verse 9. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so my way is higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, they may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish the thing which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Meaning what? So the Israelites will go into slavery, but ultimately they will be redeemed. You know, the beast man will put out his beast mark and try and fuck up the world, but ultimately he will get fucked up. You know, all of these things are prophecy. Yeah, all of this, everything to do with Jacob is prophetic. Everything to do with E is pathetic. Right, let's go.
Just on top, you know, when it says it shall not be made void or brought back to me void. Where does it say verbatim?
It shall not return unto me void. If you want to get me the light, I'll show you verbatim. It's Isaiah 55 and verse 11. It said, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
So it shall accomplish and it shall prosper. It shall bring forth, it shall have success. It shall bring forth fruits. All right, it shall be fruitful. The words that Yahawah has spoken, the reason why I said not return void, meaning worthless, all right, no value. And again, the scriptures are, there's a reason Proverbs chapter 16, if you can bring that, where it says that these scriptures are worth more than silver and gold. So the value of these words are the ultimate things we should value because it gives us comfort before time. All right, that's why it's prophecy. It's written before, it's said before.
You know, I was talking about the certain things that the Lord does that we should do, or you know, the thoughts and the thinking and the feelings and all of that. Well, the fact that if you say a word, it comes back to you void, then it's vain. So, you know, if we say we ought to do something, like I ought to make this video today, it's void, it's vain. If you're telling a brother, yeah, you should do it. If you say you're going to do it, you should do it. That's something we can apply to ourselves. And it's called integrity, which is one of it's a key quality. Along with humility and various other things, which is very difficult to maintain in this world. We're meant to be in this world, not of it.
Book of Proverbs chapter 16, verse 16.
Right.
How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver?
So, how much better it is to get understanding and to be of the elect than it is to gain silver. And why is that? It's because the riches of this world are going to get people out of destruction. Okay. Proverbs 11 and 28. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. Again, flourish, shall be prosperous, shall blossom.
James 2 and 5.
Yep.
Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, right, to be heirs to the kingdom. I promise to them that love him. I believe is what it says, paraphrasing.
That was all I had. You got anything?
Yeah, let's finish this. Alright, verse 12, Isaiah 55, 12 and 13. For you shall go out with joy and be led forth in peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree, and it shall be to Yahawah for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. Right, because what? It's going to be forever, forever, ever, forever, ever.
Right. And the trees shall rejoice. You know, trees actually communicate through the roots and everything. And they communicate, and they actually do trades as well. Okay? Trading things like nutrients and whatnot as some form of value for each other. And they're going to communicate and they're going to rejoice knowing that finally the person who's fucking up the earth doesn't change as he's bound.
No fella has come up against us, as it says in Isaiah 14. When he's put down, because what's he known for? He's known for deforestation. Now, according to their science, which we'll go with it for now, trees effectively, I know it's respire, don't get triggered, right? But they breathe out oxygen, we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide, they breathe it in. So if you want to befriend something, befriend a tree. They're good to us, man. Because ultimately what? It's from the Lord. It's the Lord that's being good to us by giving us these nutrients, these any plants, because that's what we eat. And if we don't eat them, the animals that we eat them. Yeah. If you've got your classic, it's about that time in my opinion.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 43, and bear with me, 43 and verse 30. It says, when ye glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for you can never go far enough.
There is, man. You can never go far enough in praising the Heavenly Father, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Right, so we pray it's been an edifying session. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and live in the word and doctrine, and who taught us this truth. And let me say all praises unto Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.
Shalom.